Hey there, welcome back to Manitic String Works. So today we're going to feature a Gibson guitar on the workbench. And here it is. Ain't she a beauty, all in black. This is a 2020 Les Paul Supreme, made in the USA, of course. Look at that headstock. Gold hardware. There's the Les Paul Supreme truss rod cover. I love this inlay here in the middle. All that binding, split block inlays. Of course, we have 3 humbucking pickups, and we have coil splitting going on here. So there's push-pull, volume, 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 and a single tone for all 3 pickups. So that's pretty cool. I'm thinking this is probably one of the best Les Paul versions in the modern era with the specifications that are on this guitar. And we're going to dive deeper into that in a few minutes. But I just wanted to keep looking at this guitar. Let me flip it over. This guitar comes standard with locking Grover tuners. I'll have to check the carve of the neck, but look at the heel here. We have some relief, so it's easier to play. That's something you don't see on a standard Les Paul, and is something that maybe should be on all Les Pauls, right? Not just Supreme versions. Super glossy. I don't know what's in here, if it's a circuit board or if it's soldered, but we'll check that. Super glossy. You can see my logo, and you can see Gibson and Epiphone logo. Very nice. And output jack here. Gold hardware, of course, everywhere. Now Gibson does claim it's put some weight relief into this guitar. So we're sitting at 9.05 pounds, which is 4.105 kilograms. So yeah, I would say about a pound less than for a normal Les Paul standard. They're usually around 10 pounds. I've seen some as high as 10.5 and 11. So 1 pound lighter. My bass that I play right now weighs 9 pounds. So I put out a short video just yesterday, asking the question, is this the best Les Paul guitar made in the modern era, let's say, recently? Certainly the specifications, not standard, not your typical off-the-shelf Les Paul, that's for sure. The black's pretty cool, I gotta say. Tell me what you think about 3 humbucking pickups too. I don't know, kind of looks silly to me, but you get your tonal variations, right? You can get your bridge. And I'll have to check what the selector switch does there, but I think in this case it only selects, you're basically selecting the neck, the middle, and the bridge. Don't quote me on that yet. I will check that out. Alright, well, we're going to have a good look at this guitar. It's here for a setup. It's set up pretty well already. The owner just wants me to check out a few things. I'm going to change this cover, believe it or not, to not say Les Paul Supreme, so just a sort of blank generic cover. And it did come with a pick guard, but the owner didn't want to put it on, and I don't blame him. You don't need to drill any holes into this guitar. And there's no poker chip. There is a poker chip, but the owner prefers not to have it on there. And I can't say I blame him. It looks fine just like that. So yeah, tell me what you think of this guitar. Have you played a Les Paul Supreme? Would you buy one if you could find one used? They're not cheap. Do you like 3 humbucking pickups? That's the big question to me. What do you think of that? Alright, let me know in the comments below, and we'll have a good look at this guitar. Okay, this guitar has a lot of specs. 2 pages worth. So let's start up here at the headstock. So you can see we have this inlay here, mother of pearl inlay, which is apparently from the 1940s. It was found in the Gibson archives, so that's pretty cool. We have a Les Paul Supreme truss rod cover. Of course, we have the binding all around, looks really good. Gold hardware, these are locking Grover tuners that come standard. The nut is a Graphtec nut, so that's not something you see all the time on a Gibson. We have these super split block mother of pearl inlays. That looks really good, I think. Pickups, of course, we have 3 humbucker pickups. These are Burst Bucker Pros, so there's 2. So the neck and the middle are Burst Bucker Pros and a Burst Bucker Pro Plus in the bridge or lead position, as they call it. I'm not sure what the 3-way switch does yet. We'll find out. I kind of suspect it's going to be position 1 is going to be the neck, middle, and then bridge. It's not a shared combination, but I could be wrong. So we also have push-pull controls here on the volume knobs to coil tap or coil splitting. There's a volume, volume, and volume. So 1 volume for each of the pickups and 1 tone for all of them. So that's a little different than your standard configuration. So this is an ebony nitrocellulose finish. You can see it's really glossy. And it should age really nicely. Looks good, but you know, really black guitars show everything, right? Fingerprints, dust, anything. Let's flip it over. We'll get inside the control cavity here in a minute and we'll see what's under there. But again, that nice glossy back. So that upper fret access here with the relief at the neck joint, that's pretty nice. Harder to see in black, but it's there. And there are those locking Grovers I mentioned. So that's standard as well. So we have medium jumbo frets. I mentioned the Graphtec nut, 22 frets as well. The nut width is 1.695 inches or 43 millimeters. And down here we're talking about 57.4 millimeters, 2.26 inches. So that's pretty comfortable, pretty standard. 2 pneumatic course. Very nice. Kind of liking this. And these are 10s on here, so 10 to 46s, that's standard on this particular guitar. So I'm curious to check out the output of these pickups. Again, I can test the resistance, at least gives you an idea of the output. So let's set that up. Okay, so I'm going to test the resistance of the pickups, gives you an idea of the output of the pickup. So we're going to put the black or the negative on the barrel of the output jack. I've plugged it into the guitar, of course, and then we're going to put the hot lead, the red, on the tip like that, and that'll give us our reading here in kilo ohms. Before I check the resistance of these pickups, I just want to do a tap test and see what this switch is doing here. So volumes are on, so I'm in the first position. Okay, so that's the neck pickup. It's giving us the neck and the bridge, okay? And this one should be, well, this one is giving us, sounds like the middle and the bridge, okay? Okay, in this first position here, we've got 7.33 kilo ohms. That second position we have 3.9, and if we go into the third position we have 8.20 kilo ohms. So I've just tuned up the guitar to standard tuning 440. The owner would like to have this playing in open G, so the setup, I'll do a setup in open G, but I just want to check where we are right now just in standard tuning. We're tuned up, so with a Gibson. The Gibson spec is 5/64, about 2 millimeters for string height at the 12th fret on the 6th string, and that's quite low. When I pick up in string height gauge, this won't go underneath. Let's try 4/64, which is about 1.6 millimeters. Just sort of touching, so that's pretty low. And on the treble side, the Gibson spec is 3/64, which is about 1.2 millimeters. Again, that's touching. So I would say this is set up really low. And by the way, if you're interested in a set of my string and pickup height gauges, of course, you can go to magneticstringworks.com and you can purchase a set there. You can buy this stand too with it if you like, it's up to you. But I appreciate the business, and don't worry, we ship to the States. I'm going to check the neck relief. I didn't do that first, I usually do, but I'm just going to do it now. So we're going to put a capo on the first, and then I'll press down at the neck and body joint, sort of around there. So again, I like to see about 8 thousandths. Some people like 6 on a Les Paul, but I'll check that at the 7th fret. And yeah, that's pretty good. It's right around 8 thousandths, I would say. So we can check that in the playing position too. I'll just turn the guitar over so it's not resting on its back. I don't find there's too much difference, but yeah, just a little bit more relief. So I think that's fine. We might want to introduce a little less relief when we come down to the final setup. But for now, we're within that tolerance of, I would say, 7/8 thousandths, which is good. So the nut action, or the action at the 1st fret here, the string height, I like to see 18 thousandths on electric guitar. And we're right there. So I'm just passing the feeler gauge under the string, and there's really no bounce at all. It's just, it's a little lower here on the 1st string, which is okay. Smaller string. Another way to do it is you put the feeler gauge, and if it makes, obviously it's hitting it, you know that it's lower than the thickness of the feeler gauge. 16 thousandths is about as low as I like to see the action here. Yeah, so this is pretty low. I don't know if it came out of the factory like that or somebody's subsequently lowered it. But again, as long as we don't get any buzzing when you play open notes like that, then you should be fine. The other way you can check is push down on the 3rd fret and then just see how much space you have over the 1st fret. So that's good. So I think the nut action is fine. It's low. It's as low as I'd like to see it. The neck relief is nice, and the string action is about the only thing I would say is a little too low. Okay, so I'm still curious to see what's under the hood here, so to speak. I put that down. I just want to see if we have a traditional soldered wiring harness, or if they went to a circuit board on this model in 2020. I hope they didn't do a circuit board. I mean, I don't repair those or fix them or reroute them. Maybe some people are good at that. I'm not. Just basically give me a hot soldering iron. That's about all I'm good with. But I am curious to see what they did here, so let's check. Let's see if I can pry that up here. Aha! Okay, well, I'm happy about that. Let me bring in. Okay, so we're, traditional soldered setup here, but you can see that these are push-pull pots. So they are a little different. They're a little deeper, of course. It's basically 2 pots on top of each other. There's our master tone, capacitor, and there's the grounding plate right there. So that's, that's pretty normal for a Les Paul. I mean, other than, of course, the push-pull coil tap. But I'm glad to see that. All right, let me button this sucker back up. One thing I'll check real quick is just the intonation. These are older strings, of course, so sometimes it's not so bad. Yeah. Excuse me, we're a little sharp, yeah, a little bit. Oh, that's good. Okay, that's good. So far, pretty darn good. So really, it's just the first string, and I think that has more to do with the string being old, probably a little bit dead. Yeah, it's a little sharp. So yeah, other than that, the other ones are fine. So I think the setup's going to go pretty well. Okay, I'm going to end the video here. I'm not going to do the whole setup here because it's pretty well set up the way it is. I'm going to do the string change, going to put 10s on again, clean up the frets and the fretboard, condition it, that kind of thing. Give it some little tweaks. But other than that, I think it's in pretty darn good playing shape. But I really want to know what you think of these Les Paul Supremes. You know, are they the bee's knees? Is it the best Les Paul that's been made in the last like 20 years? You know, lots of cool specs. You know, 3 humbuckers, coil taps, 3 volume, 1 tone. That's pretty cool. The neck relief back here. Access for the upper frets. Looks like the controls are traditional, at least the wiring, I should say. So yeah, I think it's a nice guitar. I don't know if I like this, the 3 pickups. It could be a little confusing as to which one's on, which one's off, which combination. I think 3 pickups kind of look, humbuckers at least, kind of look funny. And that just might be, you know, from looking at Les Pauls for many, many years, right? But I want to hear your opinion in the comments. Let me know. Do you like 3 pickups on a Les Paul? Do you like 2? Do you like 1? What's your favorite pickup combination? And what do you think of this Les Paul Supreme? It's a pretty guitar, that's for sure. And I like a lot of the standard features on it, but I'm curious to know what you think. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.